Tonight, I get the privilege of getting introduced our speaker, Ron Johnson. He's the lead pastor here at Restoration Church, and he just released a book called Love Hacks. I've heard of some of you guys in the audience who already have the book, which is awesome. He's married to Carissa, and they have two amazing children. And Jason and I, we moved to Denver about a year ago, and we have been so thankful for their friendship. It has helped so much. And then beyond that personally, the Brook is so grateful to Restoration and to Ron. We would not be where we are today without their financial generosity. They're letting us use their building, and they are just such servants towards us. Beyond that, they love pouring into the next generation. Ron has planted so many churches, but they love being at this gathering tonight because they love investing in and raising up the next generation. So let's give it up for Ron Johnson.
Let's give it up, yeah!
Man, you guys, what a pleasure to be here. Speaking of honor, I want to honor Molly and Jason and Tim, all the Simple Church leaders, all the volunteers who put this together, and the happy hours that are happening in my church building, I might add. So thank you guys so much. I do miss talking lots of singles. I pastored a church downtown for many years, 3 locations. It was almost all singles, and so it's really a joy to be with you guys tonight. I'm going to start with my story. It's not all pretty. I was married for 26 years, and the marriage ended poorly. And then I found myself being single again after 26 years. And I did not know how to be single. I was quite bewildered. All my friends were married. And so I got a guys group together, and I said, hey, I'll disciple you guys, but you have to teach me how to be single. And so they were showing me how to do the apps and all that kind of stuff, which I refused to do. More on apps later. And I got to this point where I said, I'm not going to date anybody. I'm just flat not going to do it. I went out with a woman for a while and didn't end so well. So I said, I'm not going to date. And these guys kept saying, no, you suck at being single. Trust me, you will date eventually. And during that season here at Restoration, we had lots of Christmas Eve services pre-COVID. We had Christmas Eve, and even Christmas Eve, okay? Because we have a small building, as you can tell. So one Christmas Eve, one of these guys said, hey, I want to take you out for dinner, and he knew I'd be very lonely going home, so bought me dinner, and he said, hey, I've been thinking about this for quite a while. There's a woman that I want you to meet. And I went back to my narrative. I said, no, I'm going to plant churches and travel a lot. I'm going to die in an Airstream trailer by a river with a puppy, okay? That's how this is going to go. I'm not going to get hurt again. I just don't want the whole dating hassle that I watch you guys going through every week. And he goes, no, seriously, you should like just be open, okay? I'm gonna show a picture. I'm gonna tell the story. And I said, okay, how'd you meet her? And he said, I met her in a woman's triathlon shop. And I said, what were you doing in a woman's triathlon shop? And he said, what do you think I was doing in a woman's triathlon shop? And I go, okay, I got it. And he said, I want to remind you, I've gone out with 257 different women since my divorce. Ladies, he knew the exact number. He's still not married. It's got to be over 500. See me afterwards if you're on an app right now and you're thinking about going out with this guy. Anyway, so he says, I met this woman and we went out, but there wasn't really the chemistry that I thought we should have. But he said, Ron, this woman is the healthiest woman north of the Mason-Dixon line. Yeah. And I said, okay, show me a picture. Show me the picture. I go, okay, I might be open. I just might be open. And where my head was at the time was I just believed I couldn't find anybody. So you've got this pie. This is my PowerPoint presentation, by the way, for the night. You got this pie, and it's all the women and the men who are single in Denver. And it's a sizable number, is it not? But then you go, okay, I want to find somebody who's a Christian. And you may not be a Christian. You're here tonight, which is great. Welcome. But if you're a Christian, you go, I got to find somebody who's a Christian, which cuts the pie in about half, wouldn't you say? At least on the app, don't they say they're Christians, right? But then wait. But then you go like real disciples, and it goes from like half, and it gets really small, does it not? Like people who really love Jesus, they're not perfect, but they're really trying to grow in their faith. Well, you go from this really small slice, and you're like my age. You're over 50, and it goes like that. Then you add wants to marry a pastor, and you're looking at a hair. And so I said, there is no way I'm ever going to find anybody. But I said, I'll tell you what, I'll go pray about it. It was a season of incredible discontent in my life. The church I built for 14 years blew up. Long story. My parents died. My wife left me for another guy. Brutal 2 years. But I was in Texas as my parents were kind of the last leg of life, and I was on a golf course one night, and I just prayed about maybe going out with this woman, and I sensed the Spirit saying, yeah, it's not going to hurt you. Go out with her. So I came back, texted, hey, connect us, and then I don't know what to do on a date. So I started calling my friends, like, what do I wear? Where do I go? I had not gone out with anybody for over 30 years. So I'm getting all these tips, and then we met, and great first date. Then we had a second date, and then on the third date, we went to a Nuggets game, and we held hands. And I had not held hands with anybody but my ex-wife for like 5 years, and no other woman for over 30 years. And I'm like, this is getting serious. Like we're holding hands, and my hand's getting all sweaty, and my heart's kind of whoa. And then when I dropped her off, I said, "Gosh, I think I'm going to wind up kissing you sooner than I thought." And she said, "I wouldn't mind." Woo, woo. And then I had to kind of regroup, and I went home, and I kid you not, this is how green I was. I looked up how to kiss a girl on WikiHow. And I want this talk to be as practical as possible tonight, so I want to show you how to kiss a girl. Here we go. Okay, so step one, you keep your lips soft. So when you pucker your lips, like when you do that, that's for dogs and sisters. You keep your lips soft. Number two, do a few soft kisses, which to me is a little aggressive, but you do a few soft kisses just to kind of warm things up. Step three, please. Then stay at a manageable level of saliva. Because if you have too much saliva, she's going to confuse you with like a pit bull or something. Then lock lips. Now you have options here, the upper lip or the lower lip, on the left side or the right side. Step five, make sure to breathe. Because if you start panting, she's going to get creeped out. Step six, use your hands, but we're followers of Jesus here. Be careful where you put said hands. Yeah? Zach, remember that on the date. Okay, test using tongue. I don't know how you just test with that one, but apparently you can test. And then 8, try French kissing, but this is optional. It's optional. You don't have to go there. So seriously, yeah, casual date, you don't even go there, man. Casual date. So then like the big night came. I have to tell you about the big night, okay? The first kiss. So she told me she'd made a commitment to go. Chris is like, by the way, I have no privacy, Gene. None. My wife does. But she told me that she was going to go out with a guy, and I'm new to this whole dating world. It's like you guys do this all the time. You're on apps, and so people are like dating several people at once and trying this person out. Got lunch over here. I was like not into that. Like, so, but she had promised another guy a date. I knew the guy, unfortunately for me. Like he was kind of a big name at the time, still sort of is in the Christian community here in Denver. And I go, oh yeah, you're gonna have a great time. Quality guy, have a blast. And then I preached here on Saturday night, and I went home, and because of the affairs I endured in a marriage that lasted over 26 years, I had a lot of just like rawness when it came to betrayal. Like I was just like a blister ready to be popped all the time. And so, man, I was worked up. I came home from speaking, I painted a whole wall in the house, like a whole wall. And then I still had all this nervous energy, and so I looked up what the world record for the 500-meter rowing time was on a Concept 2 rower for guys my age and my weight class, and I determined I would break that record. I went downstairs, and you will appreciate this, Mr. CrossFit, the first few rows, I pulled the front off the ground, and I'm like on pace at 250 meters to break the world record, and then I fell off. And I almost had a heart attack, seriously. I was just like, I just about died. And then shortly after that, while I'm still catching my breath, the doorbell rings. And she comes in, and I'm trying to act all cool, like, well, how'd it go? How'd it go? And I'm like waiting for the fact that she's gonna go marry this guy or something. Because I've been picturing like her hair back as he touches her hands, tells well-timed jokes. And all night long, I'm torturing myself. And she said, she goes, oh, it was a great date. Not what I wanted to hear. But then she said, but he's just not you. Yeah. No, it gets even better. Then she said, Ron, I choose you. My heart started racing faster than downstairs on the Concept 2 rower. I mean, I was, wah! And we remember this next moment differently, but I'd been studying WikiHow. So I still think I just went in for like a nice soft kiss, like step 2. And she says, no, you pulled me over your lap and we made out for like 15 minutes and you were doing laps. Yeah, come on for WikiHow. Come on. Yeah. And that's all I have to share with you tonight. Yeah, Q&A? No. I do want to share 3 things I learned while being single again, okay? So hopefully you won't write me off too much. I know I'm older. I was only single 3 years, but I learned a few things, and what I learned might help you a little bit. One thing I learned is that dating is not fun if you're dating just to have fun. Dating is not fun if you're just dating to have fun. So I have 3 kids from my first marriage, and then we have a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old, so I love kids, good thing, because I got 5 of them. And my daughters used to love to shop just to shop. Their mom used to like to do that, and so they would torture me. They said, Dad, bring us shopping. But they didn't have like something they were looking for. They just wanted to shop. And so I would get revenge by going to the mall and like laying down on a couch and taking a nap. I'd say, I'll see you in 1 hour, and then I'd just fall asleep and I'd like slobber over the place, and I'd get revenge. Because I hate shopping just to shop. Like there's nothing worse in the world to me than shopping just to shop. When I shop, I like to shop for something. So Jason and I, we went hunting last weekend. By the way, he's an amazing hunter. Incredible. I shot 2 turkey, 1 shot. He called them in. He's incredible. But the week before that, we went hunting for hunting clothes, which is really fun because we knew exactly what we were looking for. That's fun. Shopping to shop, not fun. You know, dating just to have fun is kind of like shopping when you don't know what you're looking for. And then you might end up getting something, buying something in essence. And then later you go, did I really need that? And I bought this, and because I bought this, I can't have that. And now you got shopper's remorse. Okay. Dating for fun, just to have fun, isn't a whole lot of fun. So I want to read a passage to you that is in a translation that I just discovered this week called the Good News, not the Good News. Well, forget it. I don't know what the translation is called, but it's a good translation. 1 Thessalonians 4, 1-4. Now then, brothers and sisters, because of the Lord Jesus, we ask and encourage you to excel in living a God-pleasing life even more than you already do. Do this the way we taught you. You know what orders we gave you through the Lord Jesus. It is God's will that you keep away from sexual sin as a mark of your devotion to him. Each of you should know that finding a husband or wife for yourself is to be done in a holy and honorable way, not in the passionate, lustful way of people who don't know God. So what he's saying here is live a godly life, keep growing, excel in godliness. The more you become like Jesus, the better your life's going to be, the more fruits of the Spirit are going to be there. Life's just better when you walk with Jesus. And then he's saying when it comes to, now they didn't date back then. Dating is actually a really recent phenomena, but they did have courtship. Typically the marriages were arranged and you would court for a while. And so what Paul is saying to these young believers in Thessalonica is when you are courting, do so in an honorable way and then don't transgress sexual boundaries. Don't be sexually immoral. This is the will of the Lord. Now, when it comes to dating for fun, I've been in the city a long time. I've known thousands of singles. I don't know if I said this, but my last church was almost 90% single. And I've learned here in the city that when people say they're dating for fun, that's actually code for we're dating for sex. Can I hear an amen? Anybody been on that date? Okay. Dating for sex is what usually people mean. So, and if that's your thing, that's cool. I mean, you have the freedom. God's giving you freedom. Do what you want to do. Just be honest about it. Like, be really honest. Like, when you go on the first date, don't do this, by the way, casual date. But when you go on the first date, if that's your agenda, just say, hey, here's the deal. I'm just dating for fun. I'm not dating to get married. I'm just dating for fun. And so I want to have fun with you. I want to have sex with you, and we're going to have a good time. But then eventually, I'm going to break up with you, and I'm going to break your heart. Because that's what dating for fun leads to. And I've watched this again and again and again with so many people. And what happens when you're dating for fun, aka dating for sex, is you get your heart broken again and again and again. And then eventually it's really hard to give your heart anymore because it's hard to trust people. And our hearts are like Velcro. And we're meant hoops and loops, or whatever it is, hoops and hooks, whatever it is. What's that? What's Velcro? Hooks and loops. Yeah, we're meant to have hooks and loops. I can't even say it. And we're meant to attach and bond together. And when you're just dating for fun, you begin to lose some of that Velcro. And it gets harder and harder and harder. I think it's much better to date to find a mate. And I think that's what Paul's urging here. Date to find a mate. Now, you can have lots of fun while you're dating to find a mate, but it's not the predatory behavior of dating just to have fun. And when you're dating to find a mate, you're intentional, just like Jason and I were when we went to Bass Pro Shop to get some camouflage gear. Like you're looking specifically for a kind of person that you would do well to marry and that you could create a life-giving relationship with. So I made loads of mistakes in my first marriage, and I brought lots of baggage. And after we got married, made tons of other mistakes. But one of the mistakes I made was my list was not long enough. I was 23, not very aware at that time. Some of you 23-year-olds way ahead of me. I did want to marry somebody who loved Jesus and make disciples, but I didn't watch my ex-wife now long enough to prove that she really was that person. So we both were early new Christians, and she was a Christian less than a year. She got really involved in my campus ministry, and we led people to Christ, and we led small groups and all that kind of stuff. But I didn't watch her long enough, did not go through a year, 4 seasons. And so shortly after we got married, she wandered away from the Lord. And 3 days before the wedding, she said, I'm not sure we should get married. I talked her into it, and then I spent the next 26 years trying to keep her in the marriage. I did not wait long enough, and my list was too short. Loving Jesus is really, really important, but it alone is not enough. So here's my list. I go, if I'm going to get married again, I decided I want to make sure I get the top things really important, like my Fab 5 qualities, and I actually came up with a list of 48 things. I wish I still had this list. So the top 5 were these. Must love God, must want to make disciples, must love me, because I just come out of a relationship where I felt so unloved. Must like me. It'd be really great to be liked, I thought. Wouldn't that be awesome? Is that bar too high? No. And then the last one is responsible, takes responsibility for their own personal growth. I've done close to 200 weddings, and I've seen the ones that made it. Most of them made it. Some didn't make it. All those qualities were there, but that last one always was there. They were a growing person, took responsibility for their emotional health, their emotional maturity, their spiritual health, their physical health, their financial well-being. Just a responsible, growing, mature adult. Can I get an amen from anybody? Okay. That's what you want to look for. And then the other qualities were things, if I get them, great. If I don't get them, that's okay. Likes to backpack, likes the Broncos, that kind of thing. And Krista had, I kid you not, one night I sat down and went through the whole list. She had all 48 qualities. This probably will not happen for you. But I think God's I'm just going to give this guy grace. He doesn't deserve it. I'm going to give it to him. So that's the first thing I would just share with you that I learned. Dating for fun, because I've watched people do it for years, is not fun. Okay, date to find a mate. Number 2, and have fun along the way. Number 2, character matters a lot more than cuteness or cutness. And I would add Christ-likeness and character matters more than cuteness and cutness. Proverbs 31:30 says, charm is deceitful, beauty is vain, but a woman who fears the Lord is to be praised. I'm a 3 on the Enneagram. Do we have any 3s in the room? Yeah, come on. We struggle with vanity a lot. The word for vanity in the scriptures means empty. And so what the author of this proverb is saying, hey, beauty's fine. We're not judging anybody if you're beautiful. But beauty, if that's all you're looking for, it will lead you to a state of emptiness. It will not satisfy your soul over the long haul. And so the scriptures encourage us to realize our beauty's going to fade, our cutness is going to fade, but our character lasts forever. A passage I've been meditating a lot as I get older is 2 Corinthians 4:16-18. Therefore, we do not lose heart. Though outwardly we are wasting away, yet inwardly we are being renewed day by day. For our light and momentary troubles are achieving for us an eternal glory that far outweighs them all. So we fix our eyes not on what is seen, but on what is unseen, since what is seen is temporary, but what is unseen is eternal. So what Paul is saying here is our external appearance, it's going to fade. I know this is going to be hard for you to believe this, but I used to have hair like Chris Hemsworth. I did. My hair was better than his. It was wavy and thick. And anybody old enough to know what a mullet is? Yeah. Oh, you gave it away. Okay, one of us knows. I had a mullet. It was an awesome mullet. You would have loved it. Now you can only, if you want to discover what mullets look like, go to Arkansas. But it used to be a thing. Okay? Are they coming back? I would grow one if I could, but I can't anymore. Anyway, so what I've discovered over time is your looks are going to fade. Like, Chris looks at pictures back when I was in college. She's like, wow, was that you? I go, hard to believe, isn't it? So that's going to fade, but your character can grow for all of eternity. And your character and your Christ likeness will have a far greater impact on how life-giving your future marriage and relationships are than how cute you are or how cut you are. Okay. I want to show a couple that I really admire. This is Pep, Jackson, Sharon. They're on your left side. I don't know that other couple. Pep is, he's a development guy. He raises money for all kinds of Christian organizations. He's been a board member of mine over the years. He's got the best Rolodex in Christendom. He knows Bono and all these people. And that's Sharon, his wife. And they love Jesus. They've walked with Jesus. Now, maybe you can't see it, but when they were young, they were striking. And he was a big mountain climber. He used to climb with Yvon Chouinard, who was the founder of Patagonia. I mean, he was a stud climber. He's written books about adventure and stuff. But, right now, they don't look the kind of people that would wind up in a romance movie with Scarlett Johansson or Chris Hemsworth or anything like that. But if you look carefully, you see joy in their eyes, do you not? And peace. Do you see peace? And if you could actually sit across the table from them, I promise you would feel like you're in the presence of Jesus. And they have a phenomenal marriage and a massive legacy in terms of the lives they've impacted. And so I want to be like them as I grow up. And I want to focus more and more on my inward character, not the outward, because the inward matters so much more. Valentine's Day, I think it was our it was before we kissed, whenever that was. But I was here, and I was preaching. Krista still says, your outfit was terrible. Get rid of the black cowboy boots. She redid my wardrobe. But I preached, and she came because that morning I dropped out some flowers and a Valentine's card. And I wasn't sure if I should do it or not. We'd hardly been dating. But I called my assistant. I go, should I do that? And she said, you're such an idiot. Yes, do it. You're not going to ask her to marry you tonight. Just do it. So I dropped that off. And then she came to the service like, oh, wow, I'm getting kind of nervous. Chris is here. And so then after the service, I said, hey, I got to wrap up here. Why don't you go grab some food, come to my house. I got a bottle of wine. We'll have dinner together. She goes, sure. So she comes over, and I had opened the bottle of wine 3 weeks earlier. So she almost spit it out when she drank it. But I was poor, man. I just got through the divorce. It's the best I could do. And then we went from the dinner table into the living room, and we were still at that stage where we didn't sit on the couch just yet. She was in a chair, and I was on the couch. And out of nowhere, she looked at me and she said, you see me. You see me. And I didn't want to mess the moment up by asking for an interpretation. Okay? No. You explain that? No, did not do that. Did not do that. I go, I think I know what she's talking about. And in that moment, I felt two things. One, I felt sad. Because what she was saying to me was, there's a whole lot of guys that haven't seen me. They haven't seen what I value. They haven't seen what I've given my life to. They haven't seen my heart, my soul, my character. Yeah. And then I thought, well, they're lost my game. Now, I may not have a lot of credibility. My wife is a 10 externally and internally, okay? But please listen to me. When you're looking for a potential mate as you date, value the Christ-likeness and the character way more than the cuteness or the cutness. Because this is going to fade, and this can keep growing. And this is what's going to matter the most. And so my advice to you is find the godliest person you can find and go out with them. Okay? And go for the 5s to 8s. Just go for the 5s to 8s. I don't think you can get less than a 5. In my mind, there's enough beauty in all of us. Go for the 5s to 8s. Because here's the deal, okay? I have a theory. And there is research that supports my theory. Harvard has done 4 independent studies. I'm not making this stuff. I could not make this up. Harvard has done 4 independent studies. And people who are really attractive, like the 9s and 10s, they have higher divorce rates and they're less satisfied in marriage. They are. Truth. I'm telling you the truth here. Okay, I have a theory. It's because they've worked so much on they've not had to work on the insides because their outsides are so awesome. Everything's been handed to them. But there are people, and they're in this room. You are a 9 or a 10 in terms of your character. You're a 9 or 10 in terms of your cuteness and your cutness. And I just want to say on behalf of all of us, we hate you. We hate you. No, I'm kidding. Jesus loves you, and so we choose to love you as well. But seriously, Yeah, value the character and the Christ-likeness over the external appearance. And how do you do that? Well, watch where they're spending their time. And if they're spending more time in the gym and the salon, the spa, than they are in simple churches and being mentored and learning about Jesus and the scripture and serving in their local church and sharing their faith, then, whoa, slow down a little bit, okay? Because where they spend their time will tell you a lot about whether they're working more on the inside to who they are or the outsides, okay? So that's number two. Number three is being single is a gift. This is going to be a really popular topic, I know. Being single is a gift. 1 Corinthians 7:7, but I wish everyone were single just as I am, Paul speaking here. Yet each person has a special gift from God of one kind or another. So Paul's saying, hey, it's a gift, and I wish everyone was single. It's such a great gift. And most people go, not for me. I'm pushing that gift away. Let me teach, give me the gift of tongues, anything. I don't want that gift, right? And it's because we've not learned to value the gift. Our culture doesn't seem to value it. I mean, even in churches, we do a terrible job with this gift, by the way. But it's actually a really valuable gift. When I was in college, my dad gave me Boeing stock. He worked for Boeing. $70,000 worth of Boeing stock back in like 1983. That's a lot of dough. For college, for weddings, for down payments and houses, just here's your nest egg. And because I grew up around money, I didn't value it very much. I almost went the other direction. And so when I got married, we burned through it pretty fast. And now that would be worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars, right? So often we get gifts in life and we don't realize what a gift they are. Or we just spend them instead of investing them. So you're single. You're single. How many of you are single? Okay. Guess what? If you have your hands up, guess what? You have the gift of singleness right now. You have the gift of singleness. And you can just waste it or you can invest it. You may not have it forever, but as long as you have it, then realize it's a gift. Here's what Paul says about the gift. 1 Corinthians 7:32-35. I would like you to be free from concern. An unmarried man is concerned about the Lord's affairs, how he can please the Lord. But a married man is concerned about the affairs of this world, how he can please his wife. And his interests are divided. An unmarried woman or virgin is concerned about the Lord's affairs. Her aim is to be devoted to the Lord in both body and spirit. But a married woman is concerned about the affairs of this world, how she can please her husband. I'm saying this for your own good, not to restrict you, but that you may live in a right way in undivided devotion to the Lord. Now, I know I was only single for a little while, but I saw it as a gift, and I experienced this. For a season, all I had to worry about was me and Jesus and my daughters who were still living with me. But I had more focus. And honestly, I love being single. I loved it. I traveled a bunch. I had free passes because my sisters were in the aeronautical industry. I went to Rome and Israel. I lived with a community called the Bruderhof, an intentional Christian community up in New York. I went on mission trips, went to India, spiritual retreats, got a spiritual director, spent a lot of money on therapy. At night, I would hang out with my friends, like doing discipling people, love my people here at Restoration, help plant churches. I had a ball as a single person. Was it always a bowl of cherries? No. I hated Sunday nights, and I didn't like holidays. And every once in a while, I'd kind of just get this sort of creeping feeling like I was lonely, sneaking up on me. But for the most part, I really, really, really loved it. So if you see your singleness as a gift, it will be a gift. Don't waste the gift. You're probably not going to have it forever. Statistically speaking, most of you are going to get married. But as long as you're single, man, make the most of it. And I just want to say, I'm proud of you for being here tonight. Because you're here tonight, I think whether you know it or not, you're investing your gift of singleness. You're trying to grow. And many of you are in simple churches, and you're either becoming disciples or you're studying the claims of Jesus, deciding if you're going to follow him and give your life to him, or you're learning how to make disciples. When you're single, many of you, if you share the gospel at work, who cares if you get fired? You can go get another job. No one's relying on you yet. There's so many things you can do while you're single that you can't do when you're married, and I see this with you guys here in the Brook. You're maximizing your singleness. I just want to say, as an old dude, I'm really proud of you. Okay. All right. Hey, that's all I've got, but now for the main attraction. My wife is going to come up, and we're going to try to answer some questions, all right? Come on.